Anyway, so far standard openings, and you know what? You said Maru will have to try and take this one off of the back of a little bit of a sneaky play. So far, we're not getting that sneaky play. We're just getting ourselves, a bit of standard macro opening. Now, of course, that could still change a little bit here, but so far things are looking pretty darn regular. And I'm pretty sure that everybody was kind of hoping for that, right? Just the big old macro game.
Well, right now it's just rule of one for Serral. Just staying on one gas for the majority of this opening. He's just going to be able to pump out tons and tons of drones to get his economy up and running. He's going to be able to get in here with the Overlord and start taking a look at what Maru's trying to do here. He's going to see that third base. He's going to need to deal with these Hellions, though, but not a lot of drone count at that third base, so not a lot of major issue. There's going to be one Liberator on the way, and he is going to spot that here. It's either going to be Liberator or Viking, and he should live long enough to see... It's going to pop.
Go down. There he goes. Okay. Just in the nick of time. So that could have been a Viking, that could have been a Medevac as well, right? So stuff like this, but... Overall, Serral, he's not going to be taking risks. He knows there's a potential for a Liberator. He knows there's a potential for a Medevac drop or something like that with the Hellion. So he's starting to prep for it, right? He's getting himself Spore Crawlers. No sense to take that risk right now, and that's exactly what he's doing. So should be prepared.
So it's going to be...
We'll start.
It's going to be Stim Bio to get started here. Serral with some really good timing on that Spore Crawler is going to zone Maru out to just one or two of those mineral patches, and that's going to mitigate some of that damage. But here comes Maru with the Hellions on the top side. Not going to find a fourth base just yet, or a clear path into the natural without being aggressed. But he's got Zerglings sitting in the natural right here, so Maru's not going to want to overcommit. It's going to be the follow-up here. Okay, he will get that picked off. So Liberator will fall. 1-1 on the way as well for Maru. So he knows he doesn't need to overcommit here. He does have a lot of Hellions, so getting this creep spread is very important for the amount that he's invested into this. But it's going to be Biotank on the backside. Okay, but 11 mutas in the production tab. We still see more and more bio coming out. And there's those Widow Mines. So with that armory in place, he will be able to hide those. They will have a little bit of cloak on the horizon. And 2-2 already on the way, getting a little bit of that upgrade advantage over his opponent.
Yeah, for certain. We already have the layer tech, so Serral could be starting that up as well. I think he's just, using that gas right now to make all those Mutalisks. Good amount of Banelings as well. Doesn't want to completely lose this position right now. Nice around with those Zerglings as well from the backside and pushes this backwards. So Maru now with his tail between his legs, trying to lure the Zerg into the Widow Mines. One of them does go off.
Oh, just like every part of my body tensed up there for a moment because I love the spread on those Widow Mines where he can get so much damage done with just a couple of shots. But Serral is just really confident. He knows where those hit markers are going to come from. So
+2/+2. About to finish up for both of these players, so not too much of a difference anymore there. It's just the third upgrades, of course, that may be very impactful. As Serral, you know what? Serral is actually going to try to come in here for a little bit. He may retreat, yeah, with that wall. Great SimCity for Maru. Holding back a lot of those links, making it very difficult to engage that for Serral.
Oh, but it's the setup on the left-hand side here that is going to get him into position. Serral's trying to set up a three-sided hit here, but it's that SimCity on the right-hand side that's giving Maru the defense that he needs. Baneling's going to try and get on top of the wall here, and he will be able to break that forward. Enough Banelings come on in and get on top of his SEV. 6 go down. That's not the damage that Serral is seeking for, but he's going to be patient. He wants to try and hold this back. But more than anything, he's trying to dismantle that SimCity so that way he can engage against Maru. So Maru needs to try and recreate that wall if he wants to stay safe and he wants to continue holding down that third base. It is 3-3 on the way. Concussive shells added in as well. Those mutas continuing to deal more and more damage. Picking off a gas here would be really, really good. It slows down his factory production as well. But Maru already moving out onto creep. He's trying to protect in a multiple of locations. More Banelings get on top of everything. That bio is going to fall, but it does not connect with SCVs until the very end. So only 5. Serral's got the economy to be able to back that up, but he's really looking for bigger hits here.
Yeah, Serral making some great maneuvers at the moment, keeping Maru absolutely locked up into his own base, right? It is a quarantine all over again here for Maru in multiple reasonings. Trying to catch those Mutalisks. Nice, just clutch escape there for Serral. That got very hairy there. On the left side, we have another attack ramping up already for Serral, though. Serral is very, very aggressive at the moment. Oh, there is another Widow Mine. Take care, Serral. Okay, moving backwards a little bit. Kind of gave away, of course, to Maru. Look at that, already responding to that one single circling, setting off that Widow Mine. It's like, all right, most likely stuff is coming in there. And on the right side as well, mostly Marauders. It's definitely looking like Maru already prepping for that eventual Ultra transition, right? So far, we're not seeing it from Serral yet, though. I'm wondering if he is going to go into those Ultralisks at this moment in time. At the moment, and if Maru wants to get himself a 6th base, that could eventually become even further troubling, right? Because of this aggression. Anyway, coming in again, look at all those banelings right here. We'll be able to get that planetary fortress, a reasonable amount of those SCVs also going down, even with, well, a reasonable force of Maru already in position there. On the right side, though, immediately a counterattack happening as well here. Takes out a hatchery as well. Both these players just don't want to have their opponents on a reasonable amount of bases, right? They want to keep this a little bit lower on the eco side of things. Again, a bunch of banelings right there. I'm surprised he picked up the Thor, actually. Wouldn't have been too bad letting all those banelings blow up onto the Thor, but just managed to escape with it because of this. Maru's actually only on 4. Okay, there's the 5th base again.
Okay, we've seen a lot of good Zerg players fall off once the Ultra Tech gets onto the field, so we're going to have to see how Serral can best utilize this against his opponent, who does have a lot of advantages here. These Mutas are going to stay on top of this reinforcing army here for Maru so far. Chitinous plating just about ready to finish up, and 5 Ultralisks on the way, so Serral's looking to punch, and he's looking to punch really, really fast here. He doesn't want to allow Maru to get too deep into that 5th base economy.
I'm not quite sure if I like the Ultralisk count here. I think maybe just going for a couple less would be beneficial. We're seeing Maru already with such a high amount of Marauders. He's going to be able to tank and shoot down those Ultras rather quickly. Well, at least I would prefer not to see too many more of those Ultralisks coming up. Nice scan there. Maru won't be caught off guard. Oh my god, all the Mutalisks go down.
Losing the Mutalisk is a tough call here because that really limits Serral on his mobility, but he's just going to replace those with Corruptors. We've got Ultra Speed on the way as well. He is going to make sure that he commits into that tech to be able to stay on top of this bio on the ground. Just a few less Banelings and a lot more bulk in these Ultralisks. But I believe that the Corruptor play is going to be really good. He's going to be able to start pressuring these medevacs, not allowing them to stay on top of these bio forces here. Some good connection with Banelings, but really, really good stutter step micro by Maru. Here comes a little bit of damage for Serral.
Just look at the mini-map right now. Just continuously Serral sending stuff across the map. It's like he's parade pushing against the man that parade pushes most of the time. Just with circlings mostly at the moment anyway. He's got the top left and the bottom right side as well, by the way. He's been having those for a while now. Does have, I believe, a couple of drones there as well right now, trying to just mine those dry. Really needs to get as quickly as possible on top of those bases with especially the gas, I suppose, would be beneficial for him at this moment in time. Maru has no idea, by the way, about that top right side. Otherwise, he would have definitely already pushed into here. Look at this. Look at these Marauders just mangling those Ultralisks.
So I complimented Serral earlier on his efficiency, and things have really kind of slipped off here as Maru is being the efficient one here in the late portion of the game. But that's a planetary fortress that has gone down, and Maru needs that base. That it still has a good chunk of mining available for him. Oh, a good pickup on the Widow Mines. That is going to be great for Serral. He's going to sneak in more of those lings. And Maru is definitely trying to position himself. He wants to go grab that top left corner. Now he scans it. He knows that that's going to be available. That's going to be a contestable spot.
That's a rough one indeed. On the right side as well, immediately pushing out at this moment too. He's got some ghost in the on the map now as well, getting himself some cloak. Yeah, only 5 drones there available. I guess that means he's not going to lose a lot of drones as well, but at the same time, that means that base is still pretty fresh at the moment, right? Didn't get too much mining done there. Yeah, just this heavy ball of Marauders and now Ghost as well. We need to see I believe the Ultralisk count slow down a little bit. This is something I've seen DRG do a couple of times where it worked out absolutely amazingly. You need to stay on top of the army composition of the Terran. If he's really incorporating a ton of Marauders, a ton of Ghosts, you need to slow down the Ultralisk production and go more heavily into the Baneling Mutalisk composition again. And you will be able to kind of rotate around, right? It's a delicate dance that both these players are playing right now. And in we go again, the Banelings and mostly Ultralisk. And they are, well, okay, the Banelings actually do get on top of all those Ghosts there on the top right side. All those Ghosts are trying to run for their dear lives. It looks like they're gonna be okay.
Yeah, Cozy, and it's the 23 workers that went down on the right-hand side here. Serral just continuing to punish Maru for bringing those orbital commands over, and it's just been non-stop Ling run-bys. I mean, Serral has never relented on that, and that has never given Maru an opportunity to re-secure the building pathing over here. So these Ghosts are finally going to be able to push down these Ultras with some really good snipes, but it comes at the cost of 32 workers.
Yeah, that was definitely a rough one. Maru nowhere near that base with anything that he needed. And the top left side, once more, Maru's just getting a little bit out multitasked here, I would say. Even with the inefficiency of Serral, he can afford to because he's ahead with like 3 bases. Make that 2 bases. No, he's going to take it for
I mean, the creep spread's still pretty solid here. He should be able to reinforce this. That base will actually stay protected for a brief amount of time, but here come the Banelings rolling up the ramp. The ramp is not going to be very efficient here for Serral. All of those units will be able to protect themselves. There's no high ground vision that stays reliable. So Serral not going to be able to get the Baneling hits that he's looking for, but he continues to zone Maru out. Maru's slipping just a little bit on that supply count overall, 84 to 47, but he still hangs on to that army lead. Look at that 30 worker difference here. Maru does need more SCVs. He can't just live off of mules alone at this point, especially when Serral and him are trading bases out so frequently. But look at the infestors on the top side here. He's trying to set up a big flank here. He's going to have those fungals ready to go. Those Ghosts are not going to know what hit him, and here comes Serral coming forward. Huge fungal on top of all of those Ghosts, but the army isn't able to get forward far enough. So while it's a good catch, he's not going to be able to have it. There comes the Banelings. A second great fungal going to get on top of everything. Those Corruptors will be able to pick off more and more of those Mutalisks. Some of those Ghosts will go down, but I don't know if it was enough. But Serral did a lot of great damage here, picking up every single medevac.
That was very nice indeed. A great Widowmine hit, saving the day right there. Those bio units were in a lot of trouble now. Being clutch saved again by the Widowmine, and Maru's gonna have to move backwards. He did not manage to get a hatchery knocked out that time, though. But the top left side has been in an alright position for a while now as well. So that is a planetary fortress, right? Yeah, it is. Okay, so okay, I'm still not quite completely certain that any of these players or either of these players have a significant advantage at the moment.
It's been such a great game number 1. We're 22 minutes into a best of 3, and this is just game number 1. So I think we are in for a treat here if we can continue to get this kind of level of StarCraft as we move forward here. Serral continuing to get more and more of those Ling run-bys down, but if you've noticed, those have really slowed down as of late. I think the mine positioning has been a lot more confident for Maru, being able to hit some of those run-by positions, but we're starting to see 2 players that are rather spread out, and Serral's making it very difficult for Maru to try and secure that 3 o'clock base.
The splitting of those Lings continuously with those Widow Mines, that is very impressive. That is a very difficult thing to do. Even burrowing a Ling there at this moment, at the 23-minute mark, still finding moments to burrow those Lings, make things even more uncomfortable for Maru. He's like, all right, well, I can't even put a planetary here anymore. I'm going to have to throw this orbital there, but won't even be able to do that. Look at the entire army moving to that location, actually, just for that one burrowed Ling. That is quite funny. And Serral on the left side now taking routes.
Well, Maru is really starting to grab control of this game. I feel like Serral did a nice job at the very beginning, but it's slowly now Maru's trying to secure all these bases. Look at these planetary fortresses. Look at this mine coverage. Everything is starting to move in his favor.
All right, okay. Again, a little bit of a stalemate here. Both these players having around the same amount of bases, though. If Serral doesn't manage to keep denying mining from Maru enough, significantly, this is eventually going to go quite heavily into the favor for Maru. And in fact, Serral already tapping out here. He knows the map. Those overlords, they made a pattern. And I'm like, where would you even keep a barracks hidden on this map? He didn't even need to send out a drone, and it looked like he had every single angle covered. Very, very well done overall by Serral, and you'll have to put them like very far away, those two barracks, if that is going to be your plan.
Okay, I like that. That's some interesting perspective here. It looks like we're still going to get a normal 1-1-1 style opening here out of Maru getting into this game. My question is going to be whether or not he wants to get extra aggressive with that air again. He found a little bit of damage with the Liberator in game number 1. I don't know if that's going to be the same here. There's a lot of dead space to abuse with those Liberators here, Kozan. I think we might see a little bit more of that, but look how far apart that second and third base are. Just even on the mini-map, they look like a mile apart.
Well, we may go even into some Banshee or even battle cruisers here for Maru. I mean, battle cruisers just as capable of abusing that dead space, of course, between the natural and the third base. Very, very deadly on maps like these. And it is in fact going to be the Banshee.
Okay.
Pretty
so
cool.
Yeah, a bit of a switch up here, and to Maru's credit, I mean that dead space is very easy to utilize the Banshee as well. I don't know that Maru's going to feel compelled here to grab Banshee Cloak. He is going to get it. It could possibly be to try and make Serral think he's going to go in one direction. But Banshee Cloak's always good. I don't think he necessarily has to have it because there's so much dead space he can just park in and wait. But to that point, Serral, getting his lair tech already, wants to have that overseer vision, wants to be able to stay on top of those. He's going to be ready when those Banshees come across the map.
Yeah, for a moment I thought that he may cancel it as well, because he did immediately started kind of with that Overlord already flying in, but does keep it on the production tab for now. Would be incredibly surprised, right, if he still cancels it, but yeah, it looks like he's even saving up for a second Banshee right now. Am I mistaken on that one? I'm not completely certain, but anyway, yeah, he's being a little bit passive, right? Also, just with the two Hellions and a Reaper on the map right now, it looks like he's just trying to ensure he will not go down due to some sort of a run by, as he is being a little bit greedy here, right? Grabbing those 3 command centers and the double engineering bay. So he needs to stay on his toes at home.
So we are going to get more Mutilating Bane. I'm really excited about that. We've been seeing Serral do that a lot more lately. My impression, and feel free to correct me if you think I'm wrong, I'm sure there are other people that will as well. I never felt like Serral really enjoyed Mutilating Bane. I always felt like he loved trying to utilize other options, but it feels like we've been seeing a lot of Mutilating Bane out of Serral. Like, certainly he's capable and he's very good with it, but I don't think it's his preferred. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that. So it'll be interesting.
So what do you think is his preferred?
You know, he always struck me as a really good like ground army composition. Hydraling Bane back when it was really, really prominent and popular. He was just very good at that, but he's also just really good with his Ling Bane in general. So his mute accounts, though, will be really strong here, especially on this map. He should be able to get a lot done. But look at all of this damage here. 9 worker kills, and he's gonna get both of those Banshees out. He's gonna get one of them out. But even still, that's such a great trade.
He never started that +1/+1 though, as Mapu is trying to point out. He's like, why is this not happening? Come on, Maru. Okay, he just really wants this to start right now. He's getting rather upset about it. I mean, it's true. It looks like he is actually forgetting about it, right? Why would you make those 2 engineering bases if you're not going to start it up? And this could come to hurt Maru. This does seem to be like a big part of his game plan as he's moving out right now. Finally realizing it, starting it up. And Serral already making that 4th base. Let's see, the army supplies not too far apart. Did you see if we already got Baning speed at this moment in time? Because he did have it around. Yeah, okay, there it is. Man, he just gets everything, doesn't he, Serral? no problem for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's already got that baneling speed. Serral's made a couple of mistakes here in this so far, but that's one mistake that he can't even afford to make. So the mines are going to be able to get on top of the banelings. Fortunately, they aren't going to get the Mutaflock as a whole, so he should be able to clean this up. In fact, yeah, those are dead Medivacs here at this point, so it's a good cleanup. Yep. Serral now needs to try and find a way to push across, but Maru's already got that wall set up on the south side of his base. He's really getting his SimCity going here. This is a good start for Maru, all things considered, and there goes the 4th base.
Yeah, just, well, overall, you know, he's definitely still in a good position. The work account and such, definitely looking very nice for him. Reinforcements back at home. Already getting drilling claws here as well. Very quick on the Widow Mines. This is a difference that we saw from the previous game, where he stayed on those Hellions for a little bit longer. It may be an adjustment, right? Realizing that Serral does, in fact, go from 4 to the Mutalisk off of the 3 base still relatively early. So maybe he's just like, all right, let me just prep a little bit more so for those Mutalisk, and maybe I'm going to take less harassment damage this time around by being a bit safer on that department.
All right, so +1 flyer attacks just now finishing up. His 1-1 for Zerglings is still in production about halfway there, but Maru's going to beat him on that upgrade count. His 1-1 just about to finish up. Drilling Claws about to finish. I love the placement of all of these mines. It's just very, very creative. Sneaky placement by Maru. Is it the tricky trickster coming out in our Korean Terran here, Kozan?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that is the name that is only allowed if most of your games end before the 6-minute mark, because of night explosions and such.
That's fair. All right, so Thor's going to add into the defense here, although, I mean, it's something he needs, but he's been doing such a great job with these mines that it almost feels like an unnecessary addition, but you're not going to not make Thor's at this point. That 1-1 now just about to finish up. Wouldn't be surprised to see Serral try and push that 3rd base. Maru's going to get that 4th base out and secured. Serral with the length of this map kind of showcasing a little bit of the difficulty of getting across here. His creep spread is outstanding. It's all the way to the center point, but there's so much more map to go.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is also a little bit of a sign because of getting less of those Hellions, right? At the start, adjusting to get those Widow Mines a little bit quicker, making the sacrifice that he's less capable of denying the creep at this moment in time. But he is handling these Mutalisk a lot better this time around as well, right? He's not taking damage. He's not taken pretty much any SCV damage yet, I want to say. He's just a little bit more on top of things with the defense.
Yeah, and there's a lot more spread that he can do here as well. But to his credit, there's those mines. He's got to be careful. He baits right into that. Every single Muta gets covered in that. No major kills. I mean, he's going to lose a few from the initial mine hit, but Serral's going to have to back off. He can't afford to toss those away because you're absolutely right. He has not gotten as much damage done at this point. And he needed all that damage in game number 1 just to get on the top side. And now Maru is able to get his 4th base secured. He's got those sensor towers up. He's in a great position here.
Yeah, he's making 2 more bases. 2-2 on the way as well. A lot earlier than Serral's at the moment too. So he may have a bit of an opportunity here if he does decide to move out. But so far it looks like Maru is completely comfortable just sitting back, playing the defensive game. It's not like, when's the last time we've seen anything trying to get across the field here? It really doesn't feel like Maru in a sense because of this, but that is also because Serral, he has been playing so aggressively. So Maru's absolutely fine with just playing defensive at this stage in the game.
We're getting to that Ultralisk tech once again, and it's a comfortable path, right? We'll have to see if he can actually make that work. He didn't get the results he wanted in game number 1 with it, but he feels confident with the build order. He knows that that's what he wants to go for. So of course, as a natural response, Ghost Academy coming up here. That's a lot of Banelings getting on top of all of that. Bio is going to move forward here. No mines to collect the rest of these Banelings, so those Marines are going to have to chase off. But now the SCV line is exposed. Baneling's going to get on top of everything. 5 do go down, and the planetary, and more SCVs on the way will get picked off here. Only 8, so that's a pretty good save for Maru, but he's going to have to replace that base, and he's already got one floating on spot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's too upset about that one, honestly. Like, he already had those 2 extra bases. Maybe one of them did fly towards that third o'clock location. What's this? This one link. Oh god, on those rocks. That's adorable. He's on a mission. He's on a mission. Well, it kind of is to show that, you know, Serral never F2s. That is definitely a sign for this. But here is the adjustment for Serral that I would like to see. Just get those infestors a little bit quicker to make those ultras, to make those banelings just so much more efficient.
He had a great moment in game number 1 where he was trying to sandwich with that infestor force on the top side. This is a good pull here. This is going to be another dead planetary. He's just going to commit all those banelings on top, and when you have 40, it doesn't matter how many you lose. More of these units are going to go down, so 8 more workers, but it's going to be Mutas on the right-hand side picking off the 3 o'clock base as well. This is the damage that Serral's been looking for, but it's coming at the cost of a lot of softening of these Mutas.
Well, I mean, they do regenerate rather quickly, and all those mines as well now are, in fact, gone. Maru, even though he's playing more defensively, he is allowing Serral to get away with a lot of mining on that other side of the map as well, right? He's already up to, let's see, he's getting towards that 7-base economy. And Maru still, you know what, sitting back actually on a 3-base economy there for a while because he's losing everything. But on the other hand, he hasn't lost that much army supply either, right? Still 130 army supply at the moment. And, all right, yeah, we'll be able to safeguard this base.
This position for Serral is still really rough here. I mean, he's down almost 20 army supply, and he's on a lower tech army supply as well because it's a lot of Ling and Bane. It's going to be the infestors coming up here soon that will help. The pathogen glands upgrade now just finishing up with 3-3 finishing, though. This is going to be difficult. Well, I guess 3-3 for both players is going to be finishing up about the same time. But I feel like Serral's jumping in here really, really quick, getting on top of that wall, getting a lot of bio as well for his trouble. So freeing up that Sim City just a little bit more, probably building a little bit of supply cap as well for those ultras that are now starting to hit the field.
For sure. And this, I think this is just kind of in Serral's mind space right now. He is on, well, on a lot of bases, right? His opponent only on 4. If he manages to keep just trading units at the moment, even if it is slightly cost inefficient, not too cost inefficient, please. But, oh my god. Well, I mean, I did ask for it, didn't I? I did ask for it, oh my god.
But look at the banelings on the right-hand side. They are going to get into the SCV line, and they are chasing down those ghosts. This is a better push here. Those Lings and Banes able to work together, trying to move on top of this entire army. Baneling's finally going to get on top of Ghosts here and soften them up, but no Zerglings to be able to pick the rest of them off. So Medivacs will clean them up, but 10 SCVs, 12 actually, getting for his trouble here. Now Maru falling behind a little bit. That army count a lot closer now.
Yeah, 113 Banelings have died right now. It's almost double as the Marine count that has been killed off. Now, to be fair, Maru is playing a very Marauder Ghost-heavy style anyway, so maybe not the most impressive numbers considering that, but still kind of a funny thing to see right there. More of those Ultralisks on the way. Yeah, I mean, if Serral does manage to keep Maru on this full base, Maru is gonna run dry. He is not gonna be able to keep this going, but looks like... Wait, oh, Maru already lifting up there, realizing, okay, there must be something coming in here.
Yeah, and there's no reason to try and stick around. It's not, he doesn't have the planetary just yet, so he doesn't have any ground to fortify. So he doesn't want to lose the workers, just immediately picks that up and goes. Now going to get the scan, put that back into place. That planetary will probably come up rather quickly because he is going to want to secure that location. And Serral knows it, so he is going to stay aggressive on this. The army, though, in position, ready to catch everything, but a great flank on the top side here. Bailey's going to get on top of Ghost once again, but those Ghost evacuations are just so crisp and clean. But now, Baneling's going to actually connect this time.
Oh my
He's going to get there. Yes, he's actually going to pick off those Ghosts. That's a huge loss there for Maru.
Yeah, that was absolutely massive. Right now, only 60 workers, of course, for Maru, and he only has 150 overall supply as well, so he is definitely hurting. He's been on this full base for such an enormous amount of time. Serral making it work. He is absolutely rolling in dough at the moment. He is looking like Scrooge McDuck right now, making everything go his way. Another burrow of that Ling. Again, on the top left side, he also has the Ling burrowed, making sure that that is also a base that will not be taken so easily. And Maru, He needs this base. He needs to have this base actually start mining here because his main base, his natural, are pretty much dry. The third base and the fourth base also really starting to run low. And, you know, you can see this coming up relatively shortly. I suppose we still have a couple of mules on the ground here.
Well, look at
Still
the
doing
difference.
quite a lot of mining.
Look at the difference here, Kozan. These are all orbital commands that are coming out here, so less fortification is going to be able to be available to hold these bases in place. 13 workers going down somewhere. They must have been Banelink connects on the right-hand side, but that income advantage has been so quickly in Serral's favor this time. The creep spread, he owns 60% of the map. He's not going to let Maru shove him around like he did in game number 1. And as long as Maru is going to continue trying to re-secure bases with those orbital commands, it's going to make defending them very difficult. And I think Serral's going to try and exploit that as much as possible.
Yeah, another thing is like Maru, when is the last time we've seen him be aggressive here? But anyway, all that thought, we do have another attack right now. A lot of Banelings trying to come in here with a good amount of Ultralisk and some Corruptors there as well. Let's see, you know what, overall it's okay to not trade immensely great, but yeah, I mean, Maru was on 150 army supply around that area, so you know, kind of equalizing it out right now. Maru is going to have a bit of more of a struggle to recuperate those forces. But anyway, I wanted to say, like, this map, I'm still kind of learning about this map, but I think Maru just feels incredibly uncomfortable pushing across the fields, not just because of all that creep spread, but also just because there's a lot of distance between all these bases. And as well, right, it's a thin map, so Serral shouldn't have too much difficulty collapsing on a Terran army that does try to make it across the field, and Maru is struggling because of this, it feels like. Like, there it is, he's sending some stuff out on the first bit of creep. Serral immediately just on the case.
And that's to Serral's credit, and Maru's not able to even work his way over to the side to Serral's side of the map. He hasn't even seen a hatchery in probably the last 5 minutes or so, and Serral's happy to continue that streak going. More scans going to be burned to get this creep spread going, but Maru's economy is, he's at 45 workers. You could really be using those mules right now. He's got 6 on the ground. His orbital count is a lot higher, though, than it was in game number 1, so he can afford going in those directions. But this is exactly what I'm talking about here, Kozan. Now, he doesn't have to dedicate his whole army to go clean up that base. He could just send that squad of Lings. Maru's going to have to send army after that to deal with it. But right now, Maru trying to push on the bottom right-hand side.
Did not work out for him, it looks like. Only getting 5 workers right there. Serral even trying to take these bases off of Maru sometime, and that top left immediately just gone. That is a place where you could consider making like a planetary behind a wall of the health supply depots or something, right? Because there is only that one entrance into that location. But anyway, Maru, he is back on 160 army supply. So once again, right, the potential of a slow and steady push across the field could still occur here. Let's see if those Banelings get good enough connections. Zerglings absolutely mangling those Marauders right now. They're having a rough time. Corruptors also cleaning up a lot of those medavacs. And yeah, the army supply of Maru, it is, I mean, that is surprising to me. He was at like 160 versus 100, what was it, 30, 20 from Serral? And look at this. They trade out in a way that now they're equal on that army supply again. That could also be because Serral's macros is on top of things, of course, and he's just recreating those ultras, the Zerglings, everything very quickly. Does lose a base, but ultimately pushes Maru back all the way across the field again.
Oh, and if those Lings can wrap around those ghosts, that's going to be big trouble here. There's no Overseer, so no vision on those ghosts. Those ghosts will be able to protect themselves, at least for now. Serral's got to be careful that he doesn't have too much of his army supply wrapped up in Corruptors, because even though those Corruptors are being very valuable at picking off medavacs, it can make that army count feel a little skewed in a sense where, okay, Serral's up, but is he really? Yeah. He doesn't have enough army to engage on the bottom, and everything that Maru has can at least get on top of the bulk of the time of the army. But now is going to be another lift. These Corruptors are going to try and puke down this orbital command, but it will be able to float away. But Serral going to be able to continue to secure that lead, 170 to 112, and another burrow preventing that. Serral definitely feeling a lot more confident here in game number 2 and playing a lot more confidently as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is the real important part right now for Maru, who needs new bases to be mining. He's actually on 0 mineral income there for a while. All his other bases are empty. Of course, it kind of the same applies for Serral right now. He still has a couple of bases that are still mining, but it's not that much rushy. He is also kind of hurting, but definitely less than Maru is at the moment, who once again is just not mining on that right side. Even creep spread now gonna deny that base. Serral even getting these bases off of Maru that are supposed to be Terran favored to get, but yeah, I think we are reaching a GG point here momentarily. Maru has just been struggling too much to get all this stuff back up into his favor. He's gonna lose another command center there most likely, or at least a ton of SCVs. 15 workers, all that remains.
Yeah, and losing that economy is a no-go at this point in the game. Maru dips below 100 supply. His idea of going into Ghost Heavy did not work out. GG is called, and we're going to get game number 3. They know. He's in the same series.
Yeah. The thing is, right, that would already destroy the entire idea of having a Serral Maru finals, right? Which is still something I'm secretly keeping my hopes out for. But yeah, overall, I mean, it would be more likely, right? I feel like to have Serral and Maru both play again. Well, to be fair though, one of them is gonna go into the winners match. So I'm not quite sure, Rushy, what the exact odds are. But overall, I wouldn't mind seeing more Serral versus Maru, because this has been absolutely amazing. And
Maru got a drone kill there.
I'm with you.
Maru got a drone kill there. I think it's game over. Like, he just taps out at this point. Like,
he can,
just get out of my game and see you later.
Go to the manicure and do something else entirely. Who knows? Who knows? Just have a little bath. Anything he wants to. All right. Well, I'm interested in seeing how many of these Hellions we're going to be getting again. Well, actually, that tech lab not actually anywhere near a starport. In fact, no starport so far. Instead, we're seeing that third base already on the way. So even a quicker third base than we had seen the game number 1 and 2, I believe. Oh, a second barracks as well to try and facilitate somewhat of a defense here. Interesting.
I do like that quick stem. We're seeing this a lot on these, we'll call it medium. I mean, Lightshade by no means is a small map. It's definitely not, it's no submarine, let's put it that way. But this is going to be for some really, really quick aggression. But to your point, there's still no starport on the way. So if this is going to be a bio push, I mean, it's going to walk right across the map, and we've got a couple of engineering bays coming in as well. So it's going to be very quick turnaround on the upgrades on top of it. So should be very interesting. It does not look like we're going to get any major mech in this series from Maru, so it's going to be more bio, more problems.
I'm not upset about that at all whatsoever. There's that starport right now. We did see the double engineering bay as well, right? So I'm kind of wondering if he is planning to do a little bit of aggression here. Maybe he's going to put the starports onto a reactor and try to do like a double medevac with a marine stim drop somewhere. That could be the case. But Nautilus are not going to be too far away, right? Layer tech already on the way here. Serral getting everything he wants as well. Once more.
Okay, so now we do have the starport just now finishing up. More than likely that will give us 2 medevacs, so that should give Maru a little bit of pushing power here. But yeah, look at these Marines already queuing up. And to Maru's credit, he's doing a really nice job of holding Serral back on his information. Serral is so good at scouting and knowing when everything is coming, but it's not being scouted. But here goes the Zergling on the top side. Is he going to be able to see that? It looks like those units are positioning it downwards. He's not going to see that just yet, but Serral's got to know that something's coming at least soon here. He sees those Hellions trying to posture and clear up as much creep as possible.
He did see the triple Rex, right? So in a way, you're already as Serral probably thinking to yourself, right? So it's going to be a lot of Marines. I'm pretty certain he saw the stim pack as well being researched. So at least not the tech lab lighting up there. So you gotta be scratching your head there a little bit with what be coming at you. And he doesn't have baning speed just quite yet, right? So this is hitting a little bit earlier than the previous timings we saw from Maru with the Marinus, and that is to its benefit for sure. It's about to finish up though, that baning speed, but it's a rough situation now for Serral. He doesn't have creep spread here either, so let's see those Hellions. They are getting some nice work done. Oh my god, that was a big hit there. Oh, that was such a clutch one there for Maru, just barely not being able to save those Marines.
How can you, as Serral, just ignore the 4 Hellions that are just roasting everything? To have the kind of fortitude to be able to do that is just, it's stunning. But Hydra's on the way. I don't feel so silly anymore here. We have got, we're going to have a little bit of Hydra Ling Bane here. And I think against a player like Maru, I don't hate this kind of style. It's rather mobile. It will be very strong against what Maru wants to bring in terms of this bio Widow Mine, but I think it's going to force Maru into trying to adapt a little bit. He might not expect this coming, but I feel really good. We might actually even see lurkers. Do you think Serral has been watching Raynor play lately? He might have some tricks up his sleeve.
Could very well be the case. It has been increasing in popularity quite a bit recently. Let's take a look at what will be happening here. I mean, I'm also wondering if as soon as he already identified this, right? He saw the Hydralisk. So how much overall medevac dropping are we going to be seeing here right now to try and punish the immobility of the Hydralisk in comparison to the Mutalisk, right?
Yes, and I think the Hydras are going to be more naturally disposed to deal better with those Widow Mines, because they're not going to accidentally fly over top of a Widow Mine and just immediately lose themselves. They will be able to get good range. Serral's going to do a nice job keeping those Overseers with his army, so he should be able to do a nice job. And here's the pivot here. We are going into tanks, and this is going to better serve Maru, but is it going to happen in enough time for it to matter? Because I still think that we might see that lurker den coming down soon. We see the infestation pit on the way, so hive tech is a possibility. I'm just going to keep my eyes peeled on that protection tab as much as I can.
Yeah, I don't think there's much doubt anymore required here, Rushy. I think you called it exactly right. That is going to be those lurkers here. It's just a matter of time. I'm liking Maru though as well. He's already identified this, of course, as well. That's why we're seeing those siege tanks on the production tab right now. Also already in preparation of the next follow-up of Serral's tech at the moment. But Maru, I mean, he is being a little bit aggressive. Well, a bit more aggressive overall, but well, didn't get much other than just a bit of creep denial here and there, right? So a bit of a shame there, but it still has some possibilities, perhaps.
Well, it looks like he's not going to overcommit into tanks, at least at this point. Those drilling claws are still available. It's just now finishing up. His 2-2 is on the way, a little bit ahead of Serral, so he will have a slight advantage. That hive also on the way. But this bio-tank push is going to be coming in a couple of minutes here. Going to try and get the last little value out of these Widow Mines that he has right now. How many does he have? He's got 4 now still on the field. Still pummeling away at this Ling Bane force of Serral. And we see Serral maxed out. He's got a little bit of an army advantage, and he's got a little bit of money to burn. So he's going to build up that bank and more than likely set up a couple of queues here. He's got something on the top and bottom side, but it looks like Maru's going to try and get a little bit of a counter punch in before Serral's able to strike.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised how late the lurker attack is at the moment. If he, we're still not quite seeing it. Is he actually planning to just stick onto Ling Bane Hydra here with Vipers? Unless if I missed it, I may be crazy.
There's a lot of Widow Mine hits there on that army. That was not the engagement that Serral was looking for. But here come those Vipers. And I don't hate this play. I mean, if he knows his opponent's going into tanks, those Vipers will still be effective. But look at that. We've got Marauders, and it looks like he's trying to pivot into that Ghost Widow Mine production once again. Maru might be trying to big brain Serral here.
What about, well, honestly, I think we may be seeing Serral big braining Maru here, because like Maru he's making marauders, right? He's getting himself the Ghost Academy. He's got himself a lot of siege tanks composition right now, and he is prepping what looks like for, well, I guess for Ultralisk as well, but a lot for those lurkers. Now, we're not seeing any of them. We're seeing Vipers instead. The Vipers are going to be great against the original response for the lurkers, right? So the siege tanks. And now Serral, in a way, has a very good army composition for the army composition he's facing against, right? With those, with the Vipers. And no Ghost yet on the fields. So here we go. Let's see how well he does. There are those blinding clouds immediately shutting this down. Where's the rest of the army of Maru? I don't think it is here. It is on the top side fighting some other force of Serral. Okay, and Serral does get pushed backwards right now.
This is a... how has Serral been playing without group spines for this long into the game? He's now got it 2/3 of the way done. Just imagine how much more aggressive this army could be, especially against those Widow Mines. And it's the Widow Mine production continuing to come out. Maru, I think, doing a nice little pivot back and forth here, keeping his opponent on this type of tech for now, and not wanting to allow those Vipers to get a whole lot of damage done on those Blinding Clouds and those poles. But here comes a nice little run by. Going to get on top of a good chunk of this army, but a little bit of the map is going to segment out those Banelings. Banelings going to continue to come on forward. They thought about that mineral line for a moment, but the building path is not going to be as consistent. But this mineral line is going to be a lot more exposed. Taking the planetary instead, but 4 workers go down as a result as well.
Yeah, very well done indeed. Burrow on the way here. That's awesome goes this fight right now. I guess Serral's just being like, all right, well, not sure if I'm going to be able to get away with these forces. Actually, more forces coming in as reinforcements right now for Serral on the top side. He is quite committed to this location, taking on a lot of those SCVs, dragging them to hell, and yeah, just getting on out of there as soon as the weather is changing for him. Lovely stuff there by Serral. Once again, taking full control of where Maru is and is not allowed to expand.
Well, and Maru's hanging on for his credit here. He's trying to get that, that 5th base re-secured once again. He's going to try and take it in that top right, but burrowed Zergling already there, so that's going to delay that as well. Serral just being very, very annoying with this composition. There's just so many Widow Mines all over the map, just constantly pummeling away at this army. And here comes yet another engagement here. These Banelings going to try and find their way in. A couple of them will work their way into the mineral line, so we'll find damage there. And more Banelings getting on top of that juicy bio. Those ghosts having to run away. 10 workers do go down. The orbital is going to have to float away. And Serral once again continuing to push Maru further and further back into his own base. No lurkers required, Kozan.
Yep. Yeah, Serral goes by his own pace, right? He's like, all right, well, I just think this is superior, it looks like. Just have the more mobile force with the Hydras just kind of there as backup support DPS, and he's making it work. He is still getting the spy now as well. But at the same time, I was expecting Maru to perhaps get a bit more aggressive with drop play as well, right? He's been, again, just like game number 2, in his own base. He's been stuck on his own base. He's not quite been able to go anywhere. He's just running back and forth to the top side and the bottom side, trying to ensure that his base doesn't die. And, well, unfortunately for him, his bases are dying. So, not quite anything working out for the Terran player at the moment in time. More SCVs go down. Another orbital flying up in the sky in embarrassment that it's not a planetary fortress.
Yeah, well, and this is what got. Oh, that was a nice little connection there, forcing the kill on top of those. So those Widow Mines actually do end up friendly firing themselves off of the map. But this is where Serral thrived in game number 2. I mean, he was able to keep Maru off of securing those outside bases and planetary fortresses. Just not able to allow Maru to play the game that he wants to play. Good tank coverage will keep this army at bay, but those Vipers are just going to start pulling. Yoink, yoink, and those are going to now fall. So this base, once again, going to be under fire, but doesn't want to overcommit, knows Maru's going to rotate down.
Maru's still committing to more siege tanks here, by the way. I'm not quite sure if I like this as much, because Serral is abusing the fact that Maru is not able to cover all his bases at the same time. He already has the Vipers out as well, so, well, I just don't quite know. I would have preferred to see perhaps a couple of those Ghosts being entered into the mix as well, but Then again, game number 2 not quite working out for Ghost Fighter. Here we go, another base, another kill right there. That planetary, no chance whatsoever. And more siege sinks as well, just immediately going down there. Oh, the bottom left side. Maru's is getting demolished. Slowly but surely, Serral's getting more and more the hang of this. He's waking up, Rushy. He is waking up.
Yeah, look at those 96 Zerglings on the production tab. He is going to have more Banelings. He's going to have more Lings. He's got a little bit of a scout there that is going... Well, it's not undetected. I mean, it's inside of that sensor tower, so eventually he will find that. Imagine if it were 2 Banelings. How hype would that be? 2 Banelings just landmine on top of those ghosts. I mean, that would be the content we're looking for.
It definitely would be. That would be a highlight that makes it into the highlight reel for sure. But already we've had quite a couple of those in this best of 3. Here we go again. Serral, he is rolling in the dough. He is as rich as Bill Gates right now. It is rather ridiculous. He's coming in. He's ready to trade. He just doesn't want Maru to take this base or the one on the top end. The previous game, we saw him containing Maru on the 4 base economy. This time around, it feels like we're just watching Maru on 3 base economy. And hats off to Maru overall. I mean, he is playing against an extremely talented Zerg with just pretty much 3 bases, with Serral being, what is that, 7 bases behind this, and well, it's definitely starting to show quite heavily right now. Baneling's getting hit by the Widow Mines, but it just doesn't matter because there's so much still remaining for Serral. Cleans up the natural base. How often do you see Baneling runs into the natural base? Well, and that's very cost efficient as well, actually, looking at this right now. Surprisingly so.
Well, and Maru, again, he's trying to hang on here, but Serral is just continuing to push more and more across the map. More of those bases are going to fall. He actually picked off not only a handful of ghosts in that Baneling push, but got one of the orbital commands as well. So there's less scans, that's less mules, and that income advantage just continues to tick in Serral's direction. And he's just going to continue rotating. He still has that vision. That one Zergling has not only paid for himself 14 times over, but it's just continuing to do more and more work here. And we're getting the Greater Spire on the way, the +2 flyer, +2 missile attack as well incoming. I mean, Serral's not out of this just yet, but he's making it very difficult for himself to try and get back in.
For certain, and Serral is coming in once more here on the top, on the bottom side. More stuff will fall down. There is, in fact, an overseer. Quickly does get sniped, though. Maru trying to pull all the tricks here, trying absolutely everything to hang on. He does not want to go into the losers match right now. He just doesn't want that to occur. Of course, there will be 2 best of 5s ahead of him if that is going to be the case against 2 very strong opponents there, as well as this entire group. Pretty darn tough indeed. Serral, even on the bottom side now, look at that, grabbing that potential 6th base for Maru as well. The one that Maru tried to take like one single time here and never managed to get anything rolling anymore. This is just an absolute clinic of a ZVT from Serral right now. No Mutalisk required, no Lurkers required, just a lot of Banelings, Zerglings, Hydras, and Ultralists coming in once more. Here it is. Is this the final push? It very well may be. If this planetary boss as well, that's pretty much all of the mining. GG is called, and we have ourselves a victor.
Well played. The Finnish Phenom